Ella me pegaba, me regañaba.
Ella se había acompañado con un hombre, el cual a nosotros nos maltrataba.
Because sometimes we don't have food or sometimes we don't have water.
No estoy muy seguro.
¿No estás seguro de qué?
De que ella me quiere.
My first trip to El Salvador was 2 years ago. I volunteered at a children's home. We did construction, painted walls, that sort of thing. I fell in love with the kids and the place itself. It wasn't like any orphanage I had ever heard of. Everyone there was like family. A year later, I received notice from the founders of the home that some of their kids were being removed. Without hardly any warning, the government had pulled them out, some of them kicking and screaming, and put them back with their families on the streets. In El Salvador, orphanages and shelters carry a heavy stigma. There are stories of maltreatment and terrible living conditions. I thought if the government could see how the orphanage I'd been to was different, they wouldn't be removing kids. Nearly 1 year later, our crew landed in El Salvador.
I don't know what time it is. What time is it?
One right here. Who's it?
I'm the writer.
Hi, my name is Brian Raw. I'm the cameraman.
I'm Micaela. I'm the director.
My name is Zach. I'm the producer.
My name is Esteban, and I am mainly the backseat driver of all the...
The first few days of filming were off to a good start, but it didn't take very long before our plans were completely shattered.
So today is our third day here in El Salvador. Things were going really well, but then last night we met with the directors of this orphanage.
All of a sudden, someone came in and said, like, oh, Micaela, the couple wants to speak with you.
Basically said that they don't want to use any likeness from their organization in the film, which is a huge blow.
And the government is so corrupt that, like, if they wanted, they could just shut the orphanage down like that and all these kids would be screwed, basically.
Turns out, none of the other orphanages would meet with us either. There was too much at stake if the government traced it back to them.
They're really scared and they're really hesitant. And if anything, that just made me get more pumped and motivated because obviously something needs to be done if everyone's like so scared that they can't even talk about it.
If none of the adults would talk to us, we decided to track down some of the kids who had been removed and put back with their families. None of us were prepared for what we found. Entire families were living in one bedroom, made mostly by pieces of tin or plywood.
Tenemos una habitación para los 4 y nos ponemos afuera a hacer las tareas, donde está una mesa y tenemos nuestros cuadernos.
Many of the children didn't have a bed or shoes. Their bathroom was a hole in the ground. I remembered the orphanage, the dining room where the kids had their meals, the playground, and the rooms of bunk beds where they slept. How could this be better? Luis Enrique, the director of ISNA, or the Institute for the Integral Development of Children and Adolescents, agreed to meet with us and answer some of our questions.
Bien, me hago acompañar de Mario Mena. Él es un experto en derechos de la niñez.
Luis explained to us that a new law had been implemented in El Salvador that was aimed to protect the rights of children and adolescents.
La Ley de Protección Integral para la Niñez y la Adolescencia, que se entra en vigor parcial a partir del año 2010, nos lanza el reto de reconstruir en función de la niñez ese estado que ha quedado postergado, que es el estado social.
The 260 articles of the Lapina law cover topics from human trafficking to child labor to the rights of an unborn child. While most articles of Lapina are considered to be effective in protecting the rights of children, there is one article that has consistently been a subject of controversy. Article 13 states that the guarantee of the rights of children and adolescents correspond to the family, state, and society. However, the government has placed all responsibility on the family. The interpretation of this article has caused hundreds of children to be removed from orphanages and shelters across the country. During my first trip to El Salvador, I got to know 2 young girls who were living in an orphanage. We found out that these girls had since been removed from the orphanage and returned to their mother. We tracked down their mother, who agreed to meet with us. For her, the original decision to bring her girls to an orphanage was not an easy one.
Mis hijas están como tiernas de edad, bastante tiernas de edad. Y siempre que voy a hablar de ellas se me hace como un nudo por ahí, ¿verdad? Yo me estaba acordando de la primera vez, ahora por lo menos, cuando vinieron acá a esta institución y las trajo la ley, ¿verdad? El juzgado, porque el papá de ellas estaba como maltratando demasiado y no había otra solución y tomé como la decisión de denunciar y ahí fue como el juzgado tomó la opción de retirarlas, desprenderlas de mí. Y lloraba, Basti, todas las noches. Lloraba, y yo sabía que lloraba, pero no tenía otra solución. Cuando me comenzaron a decir que ellas iban a regresar a la casa de nuevo, yo no quería que regresaran a esa casa porque las pandillas las tenía, eran mis vecinos.
Like Banya, many parents fear for the return of their children. Not because they lack responsibility, but because they worry for their child's safety. Many of the most affordable homes are in neighborhoods where local gangs have staked their claim.
Sí, solo me dice, ¿qué onda? Y vamos a pagarme. Y solo no le...
It's really dangerous. It's like some people is killing older people. So I see one die in the street.
Sí, he probado eso. He fumado. Porque entonces me amenazan ellos, los marosos. Si no lo hago, me amenazan y entonces me dicen que me van a dar duro. Y que nunca voy a volver a ver a mi mamá.
A veces Basti se viene sola al colegio y yo estoy todo el día con un nudo acá, de pensar que ella se viene sola. Yo quisiera una vida diferente, como una vida más segura para ellas.
Antes de la ley, nuestros técnicos solamente atendían al niño. Y ahora estamos trabajando además con la familia para garantizar que cuando el niño regrese tenga asegurado el ejercicio de sus derechos.
No saben qué pasó con mis niñas. No saben si las estoy maltratando, si las estoy cuidando bien, si tienen buen peso, si están desnutridas, no lo saben. Pero pero es una realidad que sí existe.
No, el ISNA nunca, o alguien del gobierno, pues nunca nos buscó cuando salimos. No.
We were beginning to understand the frustration these families were feeling. With no help from the government and no say in the return of their children, many families have nowhere else to turn. In theory, there should be 3 equal parts to the system: the administration, the judges, and public and private social programs. But in reality, these programs don't exist. However, there's one non-government organization that has made it their mission to help. We met with Kara Wilson, the founder of Project Red. In 2011, Project Red was founded to support the children and families who have been affected by the Lapina law.
I saw that there are no other programs, public or private, helping these particular children who are being removed from orphanages, and so I decided to create a program in order to help families.
Project Red helps these families by providing physical necessities such as food, housing, and hygienic care. They also provide vocational training for parents, therapy for the family, and gang prevention programs for adolescent boys. Project Red is available for families who want help and who want to better themselves.
Mucho de lo que nosotros hacemos tiene que ver con que las familias hagan cambios sustanciales en sus vidas, en su cotidianidad, y eso solamente se puede lograr de forma voluntaria y de forma consciente, ¿verdad? De que cada una, principalmente con los responsables, ¿verdad?
But what about those families who don't want help? Project Red told us of cases where parents simply don't care for their children. Extreme cases of abuse, neglect, and exploitation are not uncommon. We followed Kara to one of Project Red's gang prevention meetings. She introduced us to Lionel, one of the boys who Project Red has been working with. He agreed to tell us his story.
Estuve en este lugar en el Carpinelo. Me llevaba bien con mis amigos, jugaba mucho, me gustaba estudiar. El último año que estuve aquí fue el 2010. Ya no seguí estudiando. Cuando estuve con mi padrastro no me pusieron a estudiar.
Leonel, él y con su hermano, que tiene 15 años, y Leonel tiene 13, estuvieron institucionalizados por casi 5 años, ¿verdad? En un hogar de Santa Ana. Pero en el año 2010, ellos egresaron del hogar y le fueron devueltos a su mamá.
Ella tenía los planes de ponernos a estudiar y él le dijo que no, que era de por gusto que estudiáramos.
¿Qué pasó?
No nos puso a estudiar, nos llevó a trabajar.
You know, these kids have dreams and they have hopes, but they're surrounded by poverty, and they're surrounded by, you know, these parents who probably didn't finish school. And so they need their kids to start working. You have these kids who wanted to be lawyers or doctors or who wanted to go to college, and they're going back to this environment with a family who's not supportive at all.
El dinero que ellos ganaban se lo tenían que dar a su padrastro. Recibieron mucho maltrato por parte del señor. Los amenazaban de que los iban a matar, los amarraban.
Yo prefería estar en el lugar porque quería estudiar y ellos no me dejaban.
Entonces ellos dos, Leonel y su hermano, decidieron escapar de casa. Leonel pues se fue, buscó a su tía materna.
Leonel, we just took him out for his birthday this weekend, and when I got to his house, his aunt was screaming at him that we don't love you, nobody loves you, your mom doesn't love you, I don't love you, your other aunts don't love you, why don't you just go back to the institution that you came from? And I stepped in between her and Leonel, who was sobbing, lying down on the floor sobbing, and said, you can't talk to him like that.
We have just a lot of parents who never tell their kids that they're proud of them, or that they love them, or that, you know, ask about their dreams and hopes, because they don't have any dreams and hopes anymore.
Even though Project Red exists to help families who are affected by the Lapina law, the resources are limited. The amount of families they can support are like a drop in a bucket.
Nosotros sabemos que no estamos llegando a todas esas familias, ¿verdad? ¿Qué más nosotros quisiéramos que hacer eso? Pero en este momento pues no lo podemos hacer.
Basically, there's no other organizations or programs that are helping these families.
Project Red is currently a completely self-funded organization. Most of their resources come from generous donors in the U.S.
Pero no es que Lepina fue a buscar Proyecto Red. Red fue a buscar a Lepina.
Yeah, we need more projects like Red, because I know like it's one difference in El Salvador, and one difference only like one light in the darkness, and the darkness is really big, but the light, they can shine all the darkness, so we need other lights to shine the darkness.
En este país, en cierta forma, pienso que se nos está quitando como la costumbre de demen, ¿verdad? Pero necesitamos apoyo, en este caso las familias. Necesitamos un apoyo gubernamental para pensar en la niñez.
These families are amazing, and I think that more people should know what they're going through.
When we first came to El Salvador, we had no idea what we were getting into. We came hoping to find answers. Instead, we found closed doors. The deeper we dug, the more questions we had. Everyone seemed to be blaming everyone else. I don't know the answer, but as I look at these kids, I know they deserve better. Every moment spent waiting for an answer is another moment wasted, another moment that these families don't have.
Yo estaba hablando con mis hijas un día y les digo, qué difícil es la vida, ¿verdad? Para nosotras, o sea, si yo tuviera un trabajo extra, o un trabajo más, ¿verdad? Sería diferente. Y Nicole dice, mami, pero solo somos 2 niñas. ¿Se ha puesto a pensar usted en una madre que tiene 5 niños? Y que igual Epina se los entregó. Y es bien real. Y ahí estamos, continuando.